All right, ladies and gentlemen, David Kendrick, Lion Speaking Agency. Gonna try something new with the YouTube page. Hopefully, I'm gonna make a podcast in the future. But for now, I'm just gonna talk about mental health because that's what I speak about professionally. Maybe it's something you can listen to in your car. Hopefully, I get a better environment than where I'm at right now. But want to talk about mental health, many different things in mental health and things that I see in the news, blogs that I write, speeches that I give. But it is, what's the date? January 11th, and something's been bothering me since the beginning of the year that I want to talk about. And it is whatever he wants to call himself, Mr. Controversy, whatever. Football player that everybody knows about, Mr. Antonio Brown. Now, you may ask yourself, why do you want to, what does he have to do with mental health? And it's not really him, but it's about how everybody, all the news reporters, all the sportscasters, all the people on the internet are talking about, oh, he must have a mental health problem. That's the issue that I have. I wrote a blog a long time ago that I'll put in the description, and it's called the Mental Health Emergency Button. And what that is, I think any public figure who has an issue or they get arrested or they do something that the public just doesn't like, it's so easy for them or others to say, oh, they must be having a mental health problem. And why is that? It's because mental health is an issue that we can't see, especially with these football players or any of these public figures that we all idolize and that we love, that we just think, okay, well, they don't usually act like that, so they must have a mental health problem. No. Athletes, you go get an MRI, you get a broken bone, something like that. You can get an X-ray, see that, hey, my hand is broken. It's not a mental health problem. It's a physical problem. Hey, this athlete has been, or this performer, this celebrity, this rapper, or whatever, has a continued pattern of a certain behavior. It's not a mental health problem. That person may just be a bad person. That person just may show, if they show you a consistent pattern of a certain behavior over and over and over again, why is it considered mental health? How about that's just who that person is? A lot of people in the media, they were saying it's a mental health issue, it's a mental health problem. What's his diagnosis? Is it schizophrenia? Is he bipolar? Is he depressed? What's going on? Because there's a lot of people right now who are suffering from a plethora of mental illnesses out there who suffer every single day on medication, go to hours of therapy a week to try to get better, to try to get help with their mental health issue. And I really think it's a slap in the face of those people and those family members and the caregivers of these individuals that suffer from mental health to see a high-paid celebrity, a high-paid athlete, anybody in the public throw a temper tantrum, but then automatically, oh, it's their mental health. They're just having a bad day. They must have a mental health problem. Let's go have them see a therapist. Let's just go get them some counseling. They're just having a bad day. That's why they drove drunk and got a DUI, or that's why they tweeted about that, or that's why they said whatever they said in the post-game interview, or after the performance, or live on TV, or whatever. It must be their mental health. Meanwhile, you got family members and individuals living with this, family members of individuals living with a mental health problem who see what their person, their caregiver, or their person in their house goes through every single day. And what really makes me sick about these athletes, these professionals, these public images, they have access to some of the best care in the world. The best doctors, therapists, people who I know I can't afford to go see right now if I wanted to. And in this case, with Antonio Brown, people want to say, oh, it's because he had concussions and the hit from Vontaze Burfict, it really made him into a different person. I also had a concussion. I had friends who went to war had concussions. If you read my book, Calvary, you hear about when I left the gym with Phelps, Starks, and my friend G during a mortar attack. Got a concussion, busted my eardrum, went to the doc, had a seizure, Well, I had a panic attack because they said I had a bunch of adrenaline in my body and it had no way out, so I had a panic attack. Found out I had a concussion. They thought I was faking, busted my eardrum, everything. Had a concussion when I was 20 years old. I don't act anywhere near what Antonio Brown acts like. I don't have any big outbursts in public. I don't do anything like that. Now, this man and the entire NFL, they know about the dangers of CTE. They know how people with CTE, how it affects the brain. Unfortunately, we saw what happened to Junior Seau, and now that CTE is something that the NFL wants to actually acknowledge, they're doing everything that they can to protect their players by upgrading the technology in the helmets. Also, providing the best care for these athletes who they know play one of the most dangerous games in the world. Collisions, high impact collisions with men, 300 pounds, running as fast as they can to try to take your head off. There's going to be some head trauma. However, I don't see any of these athletes who leave the NFL, have these big public outbursts and things like that, and we automatically think, oh, it must be that person's mental health. There are many people right now who can't afford to go see a doctor. With my work that I do with Nami DeKalb here in DeKalb County, Georgia, we just got a $5,000 grant from United Way last year to help individuals in DeKalb who couldn't afford to go see a doctor. Go see doctors. Go get their prescriptions filled. People who are really suffering but can't afford to go see these doctors, can't afford to get the care that they need. And they suffer with their mental illness. Whatever they're going through, they suffer, and their family members have to watch them suffer, because there's a lot of people out here who have undiagnosed mental health illnesses, who don't have access to some of the doctors that these high-profile celebrities and athletes have. But we're out here saying, oh, this spoiled $1 million athlete who has shown a repeated path of a certain behavior showed that behavior once again, but the entire world, it must be his mental health. And once again, I only say this because mental health seems to be a scapegoat for a lot of people, because it's something that you cannot see. You can't see the mental injuries. You can't see what's going on in somebody's brain. So that's why I think it's easy for a lot of folks to get out here and say, that must be a mental health problem. That boy ain't right. And since that weekend, Antonio Brown has continued to live his normal life. He done a podcast. He just got done watching Undisputed. Heard that he was in the club in New York City releasing a rap single, things like that. Now, nobody's talking about mental health. Now everybody's like, oh, he's just going back to who he naturally was. The person who we knew he was years ago. Now, oh, it's not his mental health. Oh, that's just Antonio. That's just AB. And then what's even more alarming, people are saying because of his talent, which a lot of us do not have, he'll get another chance to make millions more dollars. And then if he acts up again, if something else happens, it's his mental health. It's going to be his mental health. Well, there's somebody out there suffering with schizophrenia or dyslexia right now, or they may be a little bit bipolar, and they don't have any of the resources to get the proper treatment and care that they need. So their family members and their close friends just have to watch a shell of what was the person who they knew. I don't like it. I don't like how it's like how Target has that easy button you press and it goes out with easy. It's like a panic button. It's like, hey, somebody acted out of their character or somebody did something stupid. Mental health. It's not a scapegoat for whatever you're going through, man. It's not. As I continue to make these videos, this is the first one. It's not in a fancy location. I finally found time to sit down and do this thing. I'm going to be talking about more issues in the future, giving more speeches, talking about just more things that I see in the mental health field, especially with my work that I'm doing here in Nami, DeKalb. In the future, going to be talking about the work that I'm doing with the Chamblee Police Department and how we're trying to help those who suffer from mental illness get off the streets, especially those in the veteran community. Now that the war is over, finally, after 20 years, going to be taking a very deep dive into mental health issues in the veteran community, including my own, mental health issues in the African American community, including my own and my own family. Just a lot of good mental health content that I have coming out until I can get this podcast down with my equipment and things like that. Just going to do it like this. Just going to be talking. Looking to collaborate with anybody, whoever you can think of in the mental health field. And let me know what you think in the comments.